So we're already live. Yeah, we are live. So welcome everyone to today's section. Welcome to Lang Blag with Khadija, and I'm so excited to be here today. I'm really happy to be here. Yeah, this is something that I love to do. This is one of those things that I feel intrigued to do, and I'm glad that I'm here today, giving it all the best. Yeah. So today we're gonna be discussing what dyslexia entails in a means to create awareness of dyslexia, which is a language disorder. In a means to create awareness for this. So I'm doing this live session for us to be aware of what dyslexia entails, and which is why I invite one of our lovely guests in the person of Michael Emmanuella, who are current research proposal revolves around dyslexia in Nigeria. So she's going to be telling us what dyslexia entails and how we can know when someone has this type of language disorder. So she's going to be, or she will also mention other language disorders that we have. So in order for her to encourage this form of early intervention, like when we see people having this, like we're having this type of language disorder, so what can we do in this type of situation? So she's letting us know the reason why we must be aware of this type of language disorder and the importance of an early intervention. So join me in welcoming Michael Emmanuela to this session. Emmanuela, kindly say hi to the audience.
Hi, good morning, good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Emmanuella, and I'm pleased to be your guest, your speaker for today.
So, Emmanuel, can you kindly tell us about communication disorders and all that before delving into the issue of dyslexia? Dyslexia.
Okay, thank you very much. Before we talk on the main topic why we are here, which is dyslexia, I would want us to first of all know. I would like to give a background on what communication is. Then we'll come back to what is communication disorder, then other forms of communication disorder, then we'll not talk on dyslexia. Okay, what is communication? When we say communication, there are so many definitions of communication. Everybody can give whatever thing that communication means to he or her. Then me, I can define communication as a means or as a process through which one passes information to another person. That is what communication is, and this is what we do on a daily basis. It might be in form of speech or verbal communication or non-verbal, where we have sign languages and all that, or it could be in form of graphic representation. We communicate. You see some adverts or those cartoons, see that these ones are graphic. It's not that there is nothing that is written on it, but you know that when looking at it, there is a message or information that is being passed to you. That is what communication is all about. So we have effective communication and ineffective communication. We said that a communication is effective when what the speaker says is what the listener hears. We say that it is effective. That is, communication is balanced because both the speaker and the listener, they are on the same page. So when communication becomes imbalanced, that's to say that maybe there is an obstruction when what the speaker is saying is not what the listener is hearing. Maybe
Yeah.
the speaker is saying one thing and the listener is just saying another thing. That means there is a communication imbalance. Either there is an obstruction or there is something that is causing um that distortion between the communication chain of flow. So that brings us to communication disorder. So what is communication disorder? When we say communication disorder, we see that communication disorder has to do with the impairment, that is the inability of one to use language, which is a form of either encoding, decoding, or reception, or even in procession of language. When one is not able to properly use the language of his community, we say that the person is having a communication disorder. According to American Speech and Hearing Association, ASHA, they define communication disorder as an impairment in the ability to receive, send, process, and comprehend concepts or verbal, non-verbal, and graphic symbol system. That's what communication disorder is.
Yeah.
And this disorder, I can guarantee us that I can say that I can beat my chest to say that most of us have this communication disorder.
Wow.
But yeah, everybody, almost, okay, let me say almost everybody that you meet on a daily basis has one or two communication disorders. But it's not depend on the level of this disorder in the person. You have some persons that their own is mild. That is, it's very difficult for you to know that this person actually has this communication disorder. And you have the ones that is just so profound. Men looking at this person, you know that, no, 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 this one has this disorder. So we have, it can range from mild we have to severe. From severe it can get to profound. So from this mild, if is well taken care of, from this mild you can see that maybe most persons, it might not get to the severe or to the profound, which is the worst stage of it. So that's why you see some persons when they speak, you might not know that this person has speech disorder or this one, because maybe the person must have been given adequate attention at the tender age. So that take us to we have different manifestations in which this communication disorder can occur. We have it can come in form of speech disorder, where you have speech sound disorder. We have voice disorder.
So that.
We have fluency disorder, when someone cannot, as in, speak fluently. You know
Yeah.
that this, yeah. So voice disorder, you have this cracky voice or husky kind of voice. Any small thing, your voice is cracked, it
Yeah.
seized and all that. That means your larynx is having issues. You're having maybe inflammation of your larynx is having issues. So we have language disorder. This one is where someone is not able to make use of the language of his community. Language, we have phonology, we have syntax, we have morphology, we have semantics, and we have pragmatics. So when one is not able to coordinate, let me say, sounds in order to form a larger grammatical unit, is one of the language disorder. Or when one is not able to understand the meaning of a concept, even when that thing is in his or her indigenous language, that means that person, there is a communication disorder that is actually going on, that the person has. So, but we also have hearing disorder, where you have some persons that they cannot really hear very well. Either maybe one of the brains, the ear have, we have three parts of the ear. Either the pinna, which is this physical one we are seeing, is having issues, or the middle or the inner one is having issues. Though it depends on the person, it depends on the kind of disorder and how profound, or the stage at which that person is, that will determine if the person can hear you very well, or the person, just need to shout in order for that person to hear what you are saying. So, but today we'll be focusing on language disorder, and in that part of language disorder, we are going to be focusing on dyslexia, which is the main reason we are here.
Yeah.
So, but before we talk on language disorder, I want us to know that as we all know that every activities that we do on a daily basis comes from the brain. The brain is like the CPU of the body. It controls every activities that we do. So likewise, the use of speech and language all comes from the brain. The brain is divided into two. We have the left and the right cerebral hemisphere. So, and as a linguist, or as a clinical linguistics student, or as a psychologist, our main interest is on the left cerebral hemisphere of the brain, because that is where the language and the speech um, motor is. That's where we get language and speech. So any issue to this left cerebral hemisphere will cause either one speech or one communication disorder or the other. That is why our brain is very, very important. If someone has an injury on the front part, frontal lobe, we say that the person is having which is the bronchus area. The person might have aphasia or any other language disorder. But if the person has it at the back, which is the Wenix area, you also have this maybe this dyslexia of a thing that we are talking about. So it's also good to know that the brain is, we cannot talk about dyslexia or any communication disorder without talking about the brain. So
Brain.
now this dyslexia, it could be acquired or it could be developmental. So
Wow.
when we say something is acquired, that means this person is not born with it.
Wow.
Yeah, the person is not born with it, but maybe as a result of a situation or a circumstance, maybe traumatic event that happened, and you find out that this person is no longer able to make use of the language of his community, even when this person has been maybe using it, but because of this situation, this person has lost that skill. Or when we say that it's developmental, that means maybe that part of the brain that is responsible for speech procession or language procession is not well developed.
Yeah.
And most times also it runs in the family. That's why it's genetic too. It runs in
Can
the
you get it?
family. Yeah. So now what is dyslexia? When we talk of dyslexia, what is dyslexia? We say that dyslexia is learning disorder that has to do with one's inability to write very well, to spell very well, and you are not able to write very well, you are not able to spell. Yeah, when you are not able to write or spell very well, that means you actually have a dyslexia. And it was first of all coined by a um a German doctor in 1887 by name Dr. Berlin. He used it to describe a language blindness or word blindness. So, and the word dyslexia is coming from two Greek words. One is dix, which has to do with difficulty, and lexia, which has to do with words. That is, when one has a difficulty in the use of words, we say that the person has dyslexia.
This
Now,
one.
dyslexia is one of the syndrome stems as specific language difficulties. This impairment presents difficulty in reading, writing, and spelling in one's native language, and many manifest in difficulty in learning. So when one has difficulty in writing, in spelling, and in reading, of course, that means the person, you are actually having a difficulty in learning, because you find it very hard for you to concentrate in the class where you are. That's why in developed nations like America and all these well equipped nations,
Development. Yeah.
yeah, just like when I was making the presentation in class, one
Yeah.
of my classmates from Argentina, she raised the point. She was like, in her country, that every child with dyslexia is being given
Teacher.
one
Teacher.
teacher. Yeah,
Yeah.
not just an ordinary teacher, a therapist to look
Yeah.
after that person. You can
Yeah.
imagine, in one class, let's assume you have 10 dyslexic students or pupils in one class, and these persons are being given each
Special treatment. Yeah.
special therapist that will take care of them. You can imagine. But what is the case of dyslexia in Nigeria? Let's talk about it.
We are
What
not.
is the case of dyslexia in Nigeria? The thing is, that brings me to this question: do we actually know what dyslexia is about in Nigeria? Do Nigerians know what dyslexia is about? Is there any awareness on dyslexia in Nigeria? If there is an awareness in Nigeria, what is the level of that awareness in Nigeria? Because first of all, we must start from for you to tackle a problem, you must start from the root. And
Yeah.
the root is the people involved, are they aware that this kind of thing is even existing? Because yeah, you cannot treat what you don't know. So
Yeah.
you must know what is happening in order for you to provide
Treatment.
solution to it.
Yeah.
So in Nigeria as a developing country,
Yeah.
is so pathetic that a country with two 218 million population, and we are still termed as a developing nation, even with all our
Population.
natural resources and all that. So an expert, according to um Guardian newspaper 2019, it has been recorded that 36 million Nigerians are dyslexic.
Wow.
Yeah, 36 million Nigerians are dyslexic. So now, if in a country like Nigeria we are having 36 million as at 2019, how much more now in 2022? And what are they doing? What are we doing? Is it that the people are not aware of this this disorder in Nigeria? Because you find out that if you go on the street, and you let's say you interview some school dropouts, most of them will tell you, ah, I beg, they say I no feel read, I no feel write, now you
Exactly.
make I come out, you
They are being
understand?
labeled. Yeah.
Yeah,
They are
some
being
parents are
labeled.
being seen as dullants, some
Yeah.
parents are being tagged their children as unintelligent, you are
Yeah.
too lazy,
Yeah.
you are not doing anything. Then they will not see this comparison kind of attitude. They will not
Yeah.
compare you to a neighbor. Can't you see this neighbor's child
Yeah.
is always having an A, and what about you? Every time they
Yeah.
are complaining, but you don't
Yeah.
understand what that child is going through.
Yeah.
You don't know the emotional trauma that child is going through. You don't know the psychological state that child is, because you
Yeah.
don't know what it is.
Yeah.
What about the teachers? What about the teachers? The teachers are not even aware that most of these students are dyslexic. I'm talking of let's not talk of our university students or secondary school. Let's bring it down to our pupils in nursery school, because that is, if we must talk on early intervention of this, we must start from the grassroots, and that
Yeah.
grassroots has to do with both the parents at home and the teachers, the primary school teachers. That's where the work will start from first. So most of these teachers, you see them, they flog the child very well,
Yeah.
or they tag that child as as
Lodo.
yeah,
Used to use
olodo.
Lodo.
If
Yeah.
yeah, or some parents at one side they will say one village person is
It's
controlling their children, that's why they are not doing well in school. No, most times it's not just about the village people. Most times it's not about them. Do you take time to look at your children and know at this stage what is needed at this stage? You know, early child development, there are stages. At this stage, a child is expected, maybe a newborn child at 3 months is
Yeah.
expected to babble. You are expected to at least yeah to say something. When a child at 3 months is not making that
Sam.
yeah, you know that there is something wrong. It's either you rush that child to the hospital, let them check the tongue and everything. If the person is having a tongue tie, it could be a major challenge. So but when parents are not well educated on all these stages of
Yeah.
children development, they don't know what is happening, don't even know what their children are going through. Instead of that, they tag them as um
Some people use agbo. They will use agbo.
yeah. I could remember during my primary school days now, and some of my classmates, that when you tell them to read, they'll be running, or you tell them to write, but you, when they call you to come out and read, you'll be feeling as if you're on top of the world. But you don't know that those your classmates are actually going through so much. and
Yeah.
and most times you see them, they feel as if they've lost their self-worth or their
Confidence. Yeah.
self-esteem. Yeah, it makes them lose self-esteem. They will now see you as I don't want to associate with this one now. After now,
Okay.
my parents will now compare me to this person. You
Exactly.
understand? So
Yeah.
these are the challenges we are having in Nigeria, and it's as a result of parents and teachers not being aware of what dyslexia is all about. They don't know what it is, and most of them don't care to know. Yeah, some are
Yeah.
like that. Some
Exactly.
has this negative attitude towards people with
Learning.
dyslexia. They just because most of our parents, they don't know, they did not go to school, you understand. So when they now see a child too, that they will just tag it as, shebi you won't come farm, carry your knife, carry your, make we dey go the farm now. But you don't know that it's not that this person doesn't want to learn, but this person is actually going through
A
one
lot.
stage. So it's the thing is, what is the government doing? What is the government doing? What are the non-governmental organizations, what are they doing? What about us?
Tell the Ministry of Education.
Yeah, what are they doing? Because if you allow this to continue, it will get to a point, possibly, I don't know how to, when maybe 200 million Nigerians will be dyslexic. Yes, because nobody is educating us on um what these disorders are and what they are all about. And okay, maybe some person will be asking, what are the characteristics, or how will you know a child with that is dyslexic?
Yeah.
Maybe at the age of 5, every normal child is expected to at least use the language of his or her community.
Yeah.
I know there are some persons that they have this slow development. Yeah, it's okay, but at what point would that slow development continue for you to tag it as a disorder? If it continues till the age of 5 or 6, that means something is wrong with that child.
Yeah.
When you see a child in a classroom, when it comes to reading, maybe all these nursery rhymes and all that, the child will be running away. He doesn't even want a teacher to even mention his or her name to read. When it comes to writing, they are, as in, they have this zero attitude towards writing.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking of spelling self. That one is,
Another
they
thing.
will run. When you see children like that, that means these children are actually uh maybe something is wrong. It calls for concern. But most of them most of them, they or when you see a child that maybe is spelling dog, and the person is telling you duck,
Yeah.
you know that something is wrong, because the person is now
You-
mismatching of
Substitution.
sounds. Yeah,
Substituting sounds.
this child is something is actually wrong with this child. When the person has no interest in comprehension, the person has low comprehensive or retentive memory. You are talking to this child, when you ask the person of that same thing again, after sometimes that person has even,
It's
you've forgotten
forgotten.
everything. That means this child is not supposed to be so, because at that age, they are not thinking of anything. They're not thinking of how to pay house rent or school fees, though they should be able to to retain some quality or amount of information. So what can we do, as a country or as a nation, to salvage or to help in bringing down the high level of this dyslexia in Nigeria? I think both parents and teachers need to be adequately taught on what dyslexia is about. There should be a massive awareness creation in Nigeria,
Yeah.
because we are still lagging behind. I'm not even talking of even if you say in Nigeria now, 10 10 children should be given one
Picture.
yeah, therapist.
We don't
It
even
will
have enough therapists,
it will still
language
not be
therapists.
enough. Yeah,
We don't
it
have enough.
it will still not be enough. It will still not be enough, because most times people will tell you, what are you studying, what is the essence of
Exactly.
it?
Because Even people that are doing neutral therapy, like people are labeling them that why can't you go for engineering? Why can't you go for medicine? And they don't,
Exactly.
like, we tend to not even know the relevance of all these type of people. Like we don't know their relevance in the society. We all feel that the importance of going to school is just to go to school, go and work. We don't know the relevance of, we don't know the importance of knowledge. We don't know. And it
Yeah,
is affecting us. So because
yeah,
as a society, if we don't how do I put it, if we don't, or like if we are not, like we're not that type of society that seek knowledge, we will keep seeing the effect. And one of those effects is the issue of dyslexia because we don't know dyslexia, we don't know.
yeah. Ignorance. We'll keep wallowing in our own ignorance. What are you want to study psychology, guidance and counseling? Who do you want to counsel? You know, these are some of the things that you see some parents will be discouraging their children not to study, and at the end you see that we will still be in where we are, the level where we are, because there are so many needs for these people, but they are limited. We don't have them. Okay, look at Argentina, just as the girl said.
Yeah,
One person, one disordered child has a
a teacher.
therapist for
Yeah,
his or herself. How much more Nigeria? So what are, is it that we don't have the money or
and we
something?
have a lot of
Of
graduates
course,
in the
we
university.
do.
Everybody's
We
screaming there's
do.
no work.
Yeah, it's not their fault, because that's how the society we are in, that's how they've made it to be. As if those that studied this one, they are
Yeah,
not human beings. It's only medicine and lawyers. These are the people that we
that
see
we,
as
yeah,
professions, these ones. But at the end, you will still fall back to them if only you know the
the
what.
relevance. Yeah,
Yeah, even most of them that even studied, they don't even know what they are studying.
exactly.
They don't
Even
know.
people that are in this field, and which one of the reason why we have like a platform like Langblog with Kodi, like to expose us to all these things, like let us be exposed because there are vital things, like vital things that we don't really take note of. Yeah,
So I would advise, just as so many of us, or as many that's listening, or that I don't know, that maybe they will share this video too. Is good you
of
share it
course.
to someone else, so
Yeah,
that you, at least
let's,
you know that you've done your own portal. You've
yeah,
contributed to the creation of awareness in Nigeria, because
yeah,
it is too bad where we're having 36 millions of our children being dyslexic. It's pathetic. You can now think of the number of frustrated people, mentally derailed children you're going to be raising in the society. Suicide, what about suicide? These are just some of the factors that contribute to all these things, because when you tag them as as dollant, not knowing the kind of struggle they've been
they are going
putting
through.
putting on in order to understand that particular concept. It pains me the most, especially in university, when you see a lecturer, you see the way they talk to most person, you don't know what they are going through. You don't even know their psychological state, and you are just casting them down. Then when they will go back to their loved ones, that one they will even kill them and murder them. It's not supposed to be like that. I want to encourage us, if you, when you come across a child that you see the person is having difficulties, maybe in reading, in writing, or in spelling, or any of these language skills or activities, please encourage that child. Instead of you to write that person off, it's better you, if it's to give that person a special attention, if it's possible, just give it to that child, and trust me, there is going to be an improvement in that
Yeah.
child. Yes, early
I mean, there are a lot
intervention.
of therapists too. Like I can remember that when I was staying in Badon, like we had like there's this speech therapist department at the University of Ibadan. You can seek knowledge,
Mhm.
and also there are a lot of online therapists, speech therapists online too that you can just go online. That's the reason why we have Google. We have, I mean, if you see some signs in your, or like your child is showing this type of sign,
Mhm.
go online, or if it is somebody that you know, just go, like explore, like seek knowledge, read, seek knowledge, consult, do different type of thing to sort that type of problem. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, and I also think the government has a very big role to play, because most of these children, they need a special school. If our government can maybe open up a special school for the kids with special needs, and employ well trained teachers in this aspect, I think with that we can have a lesser number of people with disorders in Nigeria.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you very much, Emmanuella. Thank you for doing justice to the topic, and I gain a lot from this session. It was something that I was not able to gain during the presentation. I gained everything here, and I hope everyone here presently, and I hope you've gained something today. Let me see your comment if you've gotten like if you've learned something today. And I hope you share this type of video with people that you know that okay, this type of people need this type of like this specific type of awareness. Can they share with people? Let them be aware. This one is not a matter of maybe it's I mean, it's something that everyone needs to be aware of because when it comes to self awareness, there are a lot of things that self awareness entails. One of it is knowing like I mean knowing what type of problem you have, knowing those type of difficulties that you have. So self-awareness is not just it's not limited to one specific thing or maybe just knowing about yourself or the other things you need to learn. So that's what self-awareness entails. And we'll be ending this session. Thank you very much. I really appreciate everyone here today. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining this live session. And the recording of the video will also appear on YouTube. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Emmanuella. Thank you for enlightening our audience.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate it. Thanks for really like that willingness to share this with us. Thank you very much. And I hope that at the end of your research study, I hope many people like I hope they'll be aware of this type of language disorder. So thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.